Melbourne certainly does like to consider itself the sporting capital of the world, with the MCG hosting the Australian Open, the Grand Prix as well. But next year it's going to be one of the biggest cycling events in the world. It's going to be the UCI Road World Championships, starting in Melbourne for the men's road race and then finishing down in Geelong. It's going to be 5 days of racing at the very top level in world cycling, as we'll see who will take out that rainbow jersey that Cadel Evans won a little bit earlier on this year. The peloton, they're all still together on this, the final stage of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour. 3 laps to go.
It's inside, 3 to go. Now, this is what's happened here. Look at this Garmin slipstream. They really only have 2 men now to lead out Sutton and Wiggins. The King of the Mountain jersey, Tom Peterson, he's dropped, he's off the back. I'm not sure if he's had a mechanical or what's happened. Also, Ricardo van der Velde, he was starting to split down the back of the field. So 2 riders left, and it's still a long way to go. This opens the door for the likes of Cantwell or Kursipu.
I think signs are they're getting tired, and well, they might, because they kept this pace up at a very, very high average speed today. And the idea was, if you go fast, nobody can pass you, and that's what they've been doing. He looks pretty relaxed, though, doesn't he? The triple Olympic gold medalist in Beijing. Bradley Wiggins now transfer from top track rider to great road racer, and setting himself now for his first big stage race win of his career. Just keeps doing first all the way along the road this year. And I think he's safe now, except he's got to go where Chris Sutton goes. If Sutton wins, he must take 3rd place.
He looks so composed, the yellow jersey, but as we just look to the left-hand side of the screen, you could almost see the colours of Matt Wilson creeping into the picture. And just behind him, you'll note the white jersey as the leader of the best young rider classification. That's young Nick Aiken from Leongatha, the last rider to be put onto the Jayco Australian national team. He was the emergency that replaced Baden Cook. Big shoes to fill. I think he might need even bigger shoes.
I'll tell you what, he's done a fantastic job, Nick Aiken. I spoke of him earlier, and all the riders above him in the general classement, they're all professional bike riders on professional teams. They've had years of experience, and he's just stepped into this race, as you said, at the last minute. And he's ridden like a true pro, because the conditions, the crosswinds, it had all the makings of, you know, you needed to have plenty of experience to get around this year's race, and he's done it with very little.
Well, they love their cycling in Leongatha, I can tell you that, and it's quite a hilly road out of town as well. And he's got the banners on the other side of the row saying "Go Nick." So let's see how I hope he does take out the under 23. I think that's pretty safe now, and another up-and-coming youngster in Australian cycling. But they've done everything right so far, Garmin Slipstream, and at the moment they occupy the first 4 places as we look. The big danger man is in green for the stage win, Cantwell. He's itching at the bit here to get a stage win, and of all the people at the front end all week, he deserves that win. He's fed up of finishing 2nd.
Well, he's had a few second-place finishes. It was Jonathan Cantwell that actually finished 3rd on the first stage behind Jan Kursipu and Chris Sutton. He was then 2nd on stage 2, 2nd on stage 3, 2nd on stage 4. He's about due, surely.
They're absolutely right. In my not illustrious racing career, Matt, you might like to know, I had 15 second places in one season and not a win. I know how he feels.
Well, second's not bad, Phil, but as we say over here, it's the first loser. So, you know, I have to say that.
I feel great now, Dave. Thank you.
Do I make you feel better? Good stuff. Well, you can see, I'll tell you what, I've got to mention the Garmin thing again, because I think they're going to fall a bit short. And okay, if Wiggins can follow Sutton to the line, but we saw in that first intermediate sprint, Cantwell, his good handling skills, he went for it. Now, the other riders, they're all going to be challenging for that final sprint. They really need to make sure they nail this, and they've only got 2 riders to nail it, unless Sutton does the final lead out for Wiggins.
The advantage that they have got in the 2 riders that they've still got left at the front is one of them's the Canadian Svein Tuff, the silver medalist from the World Championships last year in the individual time trial. You can see the peloton now, they're all well and truly strung out. It's Svein Tuff, and we can see Chris Sutton, then it's Trent Lowe and Bradley Wiggins. The attack has been launched on the left-hand side of the road. Once again, it's Dean Windsor of the Drapac Porsche team that's gone off the front. It'll be interesting to see what the reaction is from the Garmin Slipstream team. This is a bold move. We're coming down to 2 laps to go. Dean Windsor off the front. Garmin Slipstream still in control, looking to get the stage victory for either Bradley Wiggins or Chris Sutton. If Sutton wins and Wiggins is outside the top 3, he'll win it overall. Join us after this to find out whether Sutton can take the yellow jersey. The exhibition buildings here in Melbourne, where we're seeing the final stage of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour. The history in this building, the first Parliament of Australia back in 1901. Lygon Street is going to see another kind of history. Who will be the winner of the 58th edition of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour?
Well, we saw the attack by Dean Windsor, and the Garmin boys here now have got themselves reorganised. Cantwell in the green jersey, sitting on the yellow jersey of Bradley Wiggins. The other man who will come through in the sprint if he gets a chance will, be, of course, be Chris Sutton, as again another tentative off the front. Well, a lap and a half from the finish.
It's the Flybe Australia team that are trying to make a move off the front. It looks as if it might well be Ben Day that's trying to claw his way forward, and it enticed the Garmin Slipstream team to try and chase him. When you look for the green jersey, though, from Flybe Australia, Jonathan Cantwell is the man they're looking for the stage win. In fact, it's David Kemp that's got himself off the front.
Well, I think what that statement says is that Cantwell has said, listen, boys, let's try and soften them up. I'm going to follow the wheels. Garmin Slipstream have got the strongest team. Let me just follow Sutton or Wiggins. This is my best chance how to win a stage. Rather than you boys wait and get caught up in traffic. Sometimes they can almost, when you've got one team that is so strong, let them do the lead out, try and feed off them.
We can see Jonathan Cantwell in the green jersey coming up onto the wheel of Bradley Wiggins, but you look two riders black, the blue colours with the green handlebar tape, young Kursipu.
Yes, and Kursipu's, I think, champing at the bit here. He started off with a win. That was something of a surprise. He got over the top of Chris Sutton and Cantwell, and now he's thinking he might be able to do it again. What's 40 years of age against these youngsters anyway?
Life begins at 40, doesn't it?
So they tell me.
Well, I'll tell you what, a circuit like this, you think it'd suit a young bloke, but Kursipu, I think, as I said earlier, he's drawing on the experience. He looked like he had the head down a bit there. There he is, just on the right of the screen, behind the Garmin riders. David Tanner also moving up. Matt Wilson on the left of the screen in the white colours. And also David McCann from Prime Estate, the Irishman, moving up. All of them now getting ready for this final lap, and they need to be in the perfect position.
McCann in the white colours of Prime Estate from Belfast. He's enjoyed the weather conditions throughout this week. He thinks it's been ideal for racing.
Well, if he was in the Tour of Ireland, it was even worse in that race, where Lance Armstrong abandoned on the last stage because of the water coming down the road from the finishing line. It was torrential downpour then. But yes, I've also noticed the Rock Racing boys trying to break in on the act. They were unlucky that they lost their big sprinter, Ivan Dominguez, early on in the crashes in this race. And otherwise, they might have been mixing for these stage wins.
They've still got a fast finisher that is a chance to win this stage. Aaron Kemps, as they get the bow lap, we're down to 4.1 kilometres to go. Trent Lowe leads them through. It's Tuft behind him. Then Chris Sutton, the yellow jersey of Bradley Wiggins. Cantwell looking for the stage victory, but we still have the decision to be made in the general classification. Let's not forget that just 7 seconds separates Bradley Wiggins from Chris Sutton. If Sutton can win the stage, he gets a 10-second time bonus.
And what we've got to understand here is, if Wiggins finishes outside the top 3, Sutton wins, okay. And Sutton wins the stage, he wins the tour. But if Jan Kursipu, I think what we're seeing here is that Sutton is going to lead Wiggins towards a line, but he's not going to stop. So if he wins the stage, Kursipu, Cantwell, they could throw in the mix here. And this could mess up their plans. So Garmin have to do this absolutely perfectly.
Happened in the previous sprint. It didn't go according to plan because others had other ideas, and that could be the case again today now. I think we're going to see some interesting moves here now as we get into the last 3.5 kilometres. That puts us about 4 3/4 minutes from the finish.
Matt Wilson it is that's at the front of the peloton. He was the winner of this race in the general classification back in 2007. This time, though, it's a Brit that wears the yellow jersey, and you can see the black colours just coming up behind the green jersey of Jonathan Cantwell. That's Dean Downing. We might have Great Britain take the stage win with Dean Downing, and then also the general classification with Bradley Wiggins. Jonathan Cantwell, though, in green, he's going to have his say about that matter.
Well, he's certainly going to give it his best shot. What I like about Dean Downing is we haven't seen him. We talked about him, but we haven't seen him for the whole race. That's the sign of a good sprinter. He's got himself into a really good position. Kursipu just in between Cantwell and Downing there, also trying to move into position as well. They've all got to stack up, though, I think, behind Wiggins. So no one will fight Wiggins for his spot.
Well, now this is an interesting line. Just look at all the colours of the rainbow, but they're really all on the same team, Garmin Slipstream. The first sprint went somewhat according to plan. The second sprint went awry. What's going to happen now? They're racing themselves as well as the rest of the race at the moment. And Cantwell in green is just keeping a very, very close eye on them, because all he wants to do is just prove himself and win.